Hi everybody, this is Andres with the Graphic Shack right here in beautiful Ramona, California. And in today's video, I'm gonna break down my personal screen printing pricing guide. So stick around to the end so you can see if my process will help you make more money and keep more money in your pocket.
So Andres, you have a unique pricing structure, but when you first started, was this the same structure you used?
No, when I first started, it was pretty much just calling around and seeing what other people charge. Custom Ink was one of the biggest ones that I would go onto the website, punch in whatever the parameters for that order was, and I'd just use their price.
How did you feel about the pricing? You felt like, were you making a profit? Was maybe you weren't charging enough back then?
Yeah, for me, I felt like I wasn't making as much as I should be making, or basically as much as I was worth. Because when you get pricing from a big company, they have everything down to a science, and so obviously they can make it happen, and there's no way that I could do it for that price.
Do you remember what price you started with?
No, I don't remember the specific price itself. I remember that I did quote something for, I think it was like $10.20, when I should have been charging like 13 or 14, and I ended up losing money that time.
Got it. So this new pricing structure, how does it work?
The pricing structure that I came up with just from experience incorporates all of your expenses, whether it's your rent, all your utilities, if you have labor involved, if you have staff, all of that, plus you gotta account for the t-shirt itself, all that into it, and then you come up with a hourly rate, so to speak, and then you use that to price the individual orders.
All right, man. So let's do an example. 24 shirts, 2 color design. What more information do you need to give an accurate quote, or is that enough?
In order to give an accurate quote for that, I would just need to know if the shirt is going to be black, or is it a dark color shirt where I need to flash it or not. If I don't have to flash, like if it's a white t-shirt with black ink, then that's all I need. But if it's a dark colored shirt, light colored ink, I have to flash, then that's something that I would need to know.
Okay, so black shirt, white ink, white and yellow design.
White and yellow?
Yeah, design.
Okay, so we need to flash for that. Yeah, so we need to account, with my setup, we need to account for 30 seconds of extra time needed to flash each particular color. So white, we gotta flash, for the white to pop, we have to flash it twice. So we print, and then we flash it again so we can hit the yellow, so we would have to flash 3 times. So that would be 30 seconds each time. So that would be a minute and 30 seconds of extra time per shirt.
All right, man, I got you. So let's start at the very beginning. How much do you try making an hour? Because that's what you do, right?
Yeah, I have an hourly rate that I have come up just based on all my expenses and based on how much money I need to take home after the expenses are paid. So for us here at the shop, we are currently at $75 an hour.
$75 an hour. So what will my total be if I want 24 shirts, 2 color design the front? Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, so let's just keep it simple. If it's a white t-shirt, black print, 24 shirts. So number one, you have to know how much can you produce per hour. In our setup, in our business here, we can comfortably print without rushing 25 shirts in 1 hour. So it would take us 1 hour to print your 24 shirts, okay? We don't have to flash or anything like that. So that's 1 hour for print. Next thing we have to keep in mind is how much time we need to use for preparing the screens. In this case, it's a 2-color print, so we need 2 screens. And this is something that you are going to also find out when you start your own business, is how long things take you to accomplish. For us to get a screen ready, it takes us about 30 minutes per screen, and that's including washing it, degreasing it, emulsion, burning it, bringing it to the shop, setting it up, and all of that. So we account for 30 minutes per screen. In this particular setup, we would need 2 screens at 30 minutes per screen. That's going to be 1 hour of screen and setup and all that stuff. So that's 1 hour for screens, 1 hour for the print itself, And then we also need to account for the cleanup afterwards. So once you're done printing, you're not really done. you have to clean up, and that's gonna take time. So we gotta account for everything, because imagine if you're paying somebody. If you're paying somebody, that person is getting an hourly rate. So that's money that's coming out of your pocket. So for us, we account for 15 minutes per screen of cleanup time. In this case, we have 2 screens. That's gonna be 30 minutes of cleanup. So now we are at 1 hour for printing, 1 hour for screens, and then half hour for for cleanup. So we're at 2.5 hours. We're gonna multiply that by our hourly rate, which is $75 per hour. That's just the labor that is gonna cost to get that image onto the shirt. So now we have to account for the t-shirt itself. Let's just go with a basic t-shirt at $3 a shirt. For us, we don't just charge the $3. We have to upcharge the shirt, because it takes time for us to go to the website for the vendor, find the shirt, put the sizing. We have to pay the vendor charges X amount of fees for us to pay with our card. We have to pay for shipping. So there's a bunch of different little fees that have to be incorporated into the price of the shirt. So we typically end up upcharging the shirt 50%. So $3 a shirt, we're gonna add $1.50 to cover all the expenses. So we're at $4.50. So now we're gonna take the $4.50 plus the hourly rate divided by the 24 shirts, and we'll end up with our grand total per shirt.
How did you learn to use this method? Where'd you get the inspiration from?
I want to give credit where credit is due. Sadly, I can't remember who it was that I saw, but it was on YouTube. It was that Free 99 Knowledge, and they had a whiteboard and they were explaining their hourly rate. And I don't think it even was a screen printing video. It was something to do with cars. And I said, that makes sense to me. And that's how I applied that video to my particular setup. I took all my expenses and I came up with my hourly rate.
So let me ask you some additional questions that a lot of people go through. First is, what if the customer doesn't have the design ready? It's not an SVG, PDF, AI. What do you tell them? What do you do?
That is very, 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 very common. We get screenshots from Google, from Etsy. We get all kinds of different pictures that are not graphic ready, right, for screen printing. So what we do is, if it's something simple, if it's something where I could just take their image, put it in the graphics program, real quick, under 30 minutes, get it ready, then we won't charge them. But if we're gonna take an hour or more, we have to charge an art fee. We don't particularly have an art fee, we just charge them the hourly rate, which is $75 an hour.
Okay, and when you tell potential customers, hey, I'm gonna charge you an extra $75, what is their response usually? What's common?
A lot of times they're like, it goes either one of two ways. They say, okay, let me find a file, or let me find somebody that can get me that file ready for you. That's one way. Or the other way is like, okay, no problem.
Got it. Now, you don't have setup fees.
No, we don't have the typical setup fee that every screen printer typically has. We don't.
And how do you feel your customers feel about it? Do a lot of customers know about setup fees, or do they just don't even matter?
Yeah, that's a good point, and it is, I think, in our best, one of our best ways that we get clients is because we don't have the typical setup fee. We give the customer the price based on their order, and usually the question that follows after we give the price is, okay, what about the setup fees? And when I tell them, well, it's already included in your price, everything, that's all inclusive, they say, oh, wow. So we don't have the typical setup fee.
What about customers that kind of lowball you? They know somebody cheaper, or they're like, hey, if we place more, will you give us a discount? Have you had customers like that? Or not anymore because you're so established?
We're pretty established here in our town. People know us, they trust us a lot. So we very rarely have people that haggle us on prices. Usually the price I give, usually people will take it without any questions. But we do come across people who want to get a little extra for less. And usually if it's something easy, if it's something where I know in the back of my head it's not going to take too much time, then we'll bend over just a little. But we're pretty firm on our prices. Our pricing is very, very fair. And I mean, we're not trying to rob anybody, but we're also not trying to get robbed ourselves. So.
I got you, man. Last question is, turnaround time? What's that average estimate?
Right now, on average, we tell people 2 weeks. Usually we can get it before the 2 weeks. Funny enough is we have a lot of customers that will come to us last minute, and I'm sure a lot of screen printers out there get these customers all the time. We get people that need it tomorrow or we need it tonight. So we do accommodate people. We try our best not to charge, a rush order fee or anything like that. But sometimes we have to, because we have to get the shirts in, so we have to charge them for the extra shipping. But as the general rule, we try not to. All right, so there you have it. That's how we here at the Graphic Shack price our shirts. And if this is something that helps you, let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know how you price your particular jobs. Let us know in the comments below. Maybe it's something that we haven't heard of, and maybe we could use it. And if you need t-shirts, hats, drinkware, mugs, tumblers, anything like that, send us a message. Put it in the comments below. We do service San Diego County, but we are able to ship nationwide. So wherever you're at, we get your shirts to you. And if you like this content, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.